it objectively makes you the highest placing Garp in anything ever in the lifespan of One Piece. I don't know, does that make you feel any kind of way or anything, knowing that you are the best performing Garp to have ever existed in this game so far?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
What is up, beautiful people? This is Small Hat Chris with the Small Hat Crew. Today I have with me a very special guest. Want to introduce yourself to the people? Let them know who you are, what you did, what you're up to.
I'm Diego. I'm the top 32 Garp. It was actually exactly top 32. It was number 32.
Yeah, that's A-okay, because my friend Trevor playing Zoro, he was exactly top 16. He was like just squeezed right in there. All we care about is the title. We don't care how you do it. Okay, so I want to get into your list because I have some questions. Because I was looking at it with my friends, and we were all like, "This man's just running one-ups. I don't understand. It's so high roll." So we have 4 Kobe, 4 5-drop Smoker, 4 Suru, 4 Otama, 2 Little Smoker, 1 Rad Beam, 4 Red Hawk, 4 Shockwave. My God. 2 Great Eruption, 4 Garp. 2K, a 5-drop Garp, a 5-drop Sakazuki, 4 Borsalino, 3 Tashigi, 4 Kuzan, 1 10-drop Kuzan, 1 9-drop Whitebeard, and then 2 Meteor Volcano. Make it make sense to me. What?
Okay, so that's funny.
The 1 Kuzan, the 1 Whitebeard. What's happening here?
At first, that's because budget. I didn't want to spend too much. I didn't want to spend too much on Kuzan because at the start he was like $75.
Right.
For Kuzan. I was like, I don't want to do that, and I pulled Whitebeard from the box. Yeah. So I was like, I did have to buy a Kuzan because my secret rare was Uta. It was it was the alternate art Uta and then regular
God.
Uta. I was like, I was like, great. I don't play purple, but
bro, purple doesn't play purple. Like what? So I thought there was like a meta call you're making there or something, like, because usually it's you either prefer the 10-drop or you either prefer the Whitebeard. Because I prefer the Whitebeard. So
no, yeah.
So there's no like
because of budget
logic to it or anything.
After I was practicing with it, I noticed they both have different uses. The 10-drop I like against like blue, and green, and then red I prefer the Whitebeard. Yeah, 10-drop mainly for blue and green, because those matches are pretty slow. Man,
that is so not what I expect. Because in blue I prefer the Whitebeard.
A lot of the times, I play the 2-drop Garp into 4-drop Kuzan, and if they don't bounce one of those back or deal with it, like if they have to deal with both of them essentially. Yeah. Otherwise, I just drop the 10-drop. And something gets KO'd. So
you like the 10-drop and the 9-drop for different matchups, but the part I'm still hung up on is their 1-ups. How do you see the one that you want to see in the matchup?
They're not that important.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm not like mulliganing for them, or I'm not like looking for them. If they happen to show up, they show up. After playing in the tournament, like I kind of realized you don't really need them. I played against 3 Laws, and like Law's deck is the highest drop they have is a 5-cost. So I was like, when I was looking back on those matches, I was like, if I just replace these with like a Sakazuki, it's probably the same thing.
Okay, because that's another thing I want to talk about. Because I noticed you play 1 Garp and 1 Sakazuki, so what's the method behind that madness?
Kind of the same reason, like budget, I didn't want to buy Sakazuki. So I was like, Garp is kind of the 5-cost Garp is kind of the same thing as Sakazuki, just it has to come in rested if you want to activate the effect.
Yeah.
But they both have different uses, like one's a 5-cost, one's a 6-cost. So one's easier to play on if you're going first, and the other one's easier to play if you're going second.
Right, but what if you don't see the... Oh my God. I love that it just worked for you. That's incredible.
Well, again, those aren't important. All the 1-ups you can honestly switch out. If I could run like 8 Kobe, I would just run 8 Kobe.
When I was looking at it with my friend Brandon, because he said this deck is so defensive, and I was like, what do you mean? It's just a Radical Beam, a Whitebeard, Red Hawk, and then I realized it was like 4 Red Hawk, that's crazy. And then I saw there's 4 Impact Waves, so why is the counter event lineup so big?
So, because I didn't like Zoro. Because what I noticed when I was playing against Zoro is that you spend too much time clearing their board, and go back and you look at their life and they're like, oh, they're still at 5 life and I'm at 2. Because you spent their entire time trying to clear the board, and eventually they're just gonna draw rush and kill you.
It's funny because you building the deck to play against Zoro kind of leaned into the meta. I don't know if intentionally or not, because you have 8 events that just pick apart Law's board. Law is probably just never hitting 5. Between all the black just popping stuff and then the counter events just picking apart the board, they probably don't shambles to like turn 4. Me and my friends were all talking, and then someone said a Garp mate top cut. You're like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, Garp mate top cut. And it's like, okay, how? Where's his list? And then finally we see the list, and the first thing I did was I was looking to see if you were playing the Brook or not. And when I saw you weren't, I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God. I actually do want to talk to him.
Yeah, I was actually using the Brook in the Zoro matchup because they spam the board a lot.
Yeah, the little bodies. Makes sense.
Yeah, so it's nice to have an extra body, and then if they play Zoro, the 3-cost rush, you can play Brook and then get the body and swing 7 at the Zoro. That's kind of that was the only use I saw for it.
So I noticed, so your deck seems to be more black with just like red for survivability. Because like your only red cards are the Red Hawk, the 2K Otama, the Radical Beam, and that's it actually.
The Whitebeard, yeah.
Oh yeah, and the Whitebeard. So all 4 cards that are red are all cards that help you survive. Because I know she didn't lean into Vista at all. I remember one question I had for you was, I was like, so why Red Hawk over Shockwave? Was it because that has the better trigger? And then I saw that you played both. So yeah, I see you're a believer of the 5-drop smoker.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. All right, so talk about that.
That's how you win the Zoro matchup, honestly. you go first, play the 3-drop smoker into 5-drop smoker, and then Zoro can't interact with it.
I love that everything for you comes back to Zoro. So now that the event's over, what changes would you make to the deck?
If Law's still meta, I would change out the big drops for Sakazuki. That's it.
That's literally it.
Yeah, if Law isn't meta, then I'd probably just keep it mostly the same.
And is that like with and budget is no issue? You'd still
still the same.
All right. So how many 2Ks do you play? 4 Suru, 4 Otama, 3 Tishigi. Is that it?
Yeah, I was actually experimenting because everyone said the 9-drop was good, and I was like,
bro, the 9-drop's insane.
It's all right. I mean, a lot of the time it feels kind of bad to play because you're like at low life and you don't have enough counter in hand. Or if you do have enough counter, you notice that you're gonna end up wasting it all that turn.
Yeah, I would also imagine with your deck specifically too, because you play 8 counter events that cost 2. The turn you play Whitebeard, all of those just become bricks in your hand.
Yeah, well, when I was running the 3 Whitebeard, I swapped it up to 3 Shockwave, 3 Red Hawk, 3 Radical Beam.
I do like that you play Great Eruption. I'm a very big believer, because you know Japan just doesn't play that card at all in any of their decks that play black. God, yeah, you do run 4 Smoker. Oh my god, that's so much to me, because he doesn't have counter. Is that like an issue you ever ran into, just not having enough counter in hand?
No, I never. I always have too much counter.
Okay.
Every time I play against my friend, he doesn't think I'm a drop 4 cards for 2-cost Garp, and I just drop 4 cards for it.
My god. No, it makes sense though. In this deck, he literally kills everything. Yeah, I guess also for you, it wouldn't even be that big because you just play so many counter events on top of it. So that's basically 2 2Ks on 2 Dawn, just like that. What did your matchups look like? Do you like remember them at all?
Yeah, so the funny thing is, I prepped for Zoro and I didn't play a single Zoro.
Oh, so how many Whitebeard did you play against? How many Whitebeard, how many Law?
I played against 3 Whitebeard and I think it's 2 or 3 Laws.
3 Whitebeard and 2 or 3 Laws. So half of your matchups for the day, as expected, were the Titans of the meta. Do you remember what your other matchups were?
Yeah, one of them was Ivankov. That was my scariest matchup because they literally dropped Ivankov on curve into Luffy, and then the next turn they dropped it again. I somehow won that. I was gonna play a Kinemon, but they had a repair, so we had the board set up. I would have won either way, but normally Kinemon's kind of a bad matchup because you know how they can rest
Oh no, I bet. I'm not surprised at all.
It's not that bad, but it's kind of annoying.
Oh wait, you mean bad for you?
Yeah, bad for me.
Oh, I didn't expect that. I thought it'd be the other way around, because like,
if they have Okiku into Yamato, it's kind of annoying.
Cause I was gonna say I would think that none of their bodies would stick to the board, so you would just, but
yeah, that's the mistake people make though, because that's what I noticed. That I think that's why none of the black players topped, is because I think they use Kobe too early. Every time I was watching people play, they would Kobe and Okiku, and I was like, that's a big waste. Because I was like, what if they play Yamato next turn? They're gonna rest your Kobe and swing into your Kobe.
I think they just want the Okiku gone.
I mean, it's fine. Just let it swing at you, and then you attack into it, and then they have to waste cards.
That's also fair.
The moment you commit to Kobe, they don't have to waste cards. It just dies.
Kobe is also a lot better at Garp than every other deck too. On top of that, though, and I think that's part of what makes Garp like so threatening, is that at any moment, the smallest body could just come out and remove one of your biggest threats. Especially like if you have like a Suru in hand, not even like a Whitebeard is safe. Do you think because you know you play Garp, you did well with Garp. Do you think that Garp is slept on? Do you think he gets the amount of recognition he deserves? What are your beliefs on him as a leader?
Yeah, he's definitely slept on.
No, I agree.
No, yeah, I think people just have to practice it more, but I mean, I guess aggro is just easier, right? Like, if you don't want to bother learning something, just learn aggro.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so much easier, because it's not... There's a lot of, like, small decisions you have to make. So out of the 3 Law and the 3 Whitebeard I played, I only lost... Both my games that I lost to was 1-1, and one of the Law players might as well have just played Zoro, because he just rushed me down. He played Nami into Zoro, into 5-drop Luffy, into the restand, and I just died to that. You might as well have just played Zoro. After the game, I told him that.
Was that the loss that happened in top 32?
No, top 32. Unfortunately, I bricked the game 1, and I didn't see a single removal effect. I didn't see any Kobe, no Meteor Impact, no Sakazuki, no Garp.
What'd you play against?
It was a Law.
It was a Law. Oh, okay. So wait, so both... Okay, gotcha. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, no, brick is the only way that makes sense.
Yeah, the top 32 that I lost to, though, his only top end was he was relying on the 5-drop blocker. He only ran 2 Rush Zoro, and I didn't see, out of the 3 games we played, he didn't play it a single time. So.
Yeah, I never thought that this deck would lose to Law, but the minute you said you bricked it all made sense.
Game 2, I saw 1 Sakazuki, and as soon as I dropped it, he insta-lost. And then game 3, he had to play to his outs, I guess. But he Bonnie searched, he missed, he restood her with the 5-drop.
Yeah. Searched
again, and then he found his last blocker, the blocker Law. I mean, I just didn't draw any KO effects again. So I was like, okay, I guess I just lose.
It's how I know he was desperate too. The fact that he used his restand on the Bonnie. I mean, I was digging for answers.
Yeah, because if he doesn't draw that, he just dies on the next turn. Because I have the 5-drop Smoker on board, I have the 3-drop Smoker on board, I have Borsalino and Kobe, and then I have the leader attack, and he's at 1 life. God,
it's so unfortunate that it played out like that. I wish there was a Garp in top 16. Do you think that this might start like...
if I had beaten him, like, the rest of the matchups are easy. Like, I was looking through the deck list, I was like, I beat all of these decks.
So was there ever a point in the day where you're just on your streak and you're like, I could win the whole thing? Like, Garp could do it.
No.
My god. That's, Alright, like, honestly, did you expect to do as well as you did with Garp?
No, not really.
Like, what did you think the turnout would look like? The outcome.
I thought I was gonna play like 6 Zoro in a row and go like 06. I wasn't expecting Law, because the locals I go to, nobody really plays Law.
What does your local scene look like?
Zoro. Like, literally when set 2 came out, I would say like the first month it was like 90% Zoro.
Bro, your local sounds miserable.
It was miserable. That's why I put the Red Hawk in.
Because you made the top 32 at the event. But like, how does the deck usually perform in your own local scene then? Since everybody's playing your worst matchup, it sounds like. Did you do better in the event than you do at your own local?
It's a toss-up, really. Most of the times I go 3-1.
Sounds about right for what I would expect from Garp.
Yeah.
God.
I had 2 undefeateds. We went 4-0 twice. But most of the time it's 3-1.
Did you do like a lot of playtesting like before the event, or do you just kind of like just play when you feel like it, and then you just kind of went there and showed up and did well?
I mean, a lot of the time I was too lazy to change the deck. Also, I was too busy, but I didn't really practice that much. Maybe twice a week.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with a little bit more practice, maybe I could have got top 8.
Do you think you misplayed or anything?
My loss against Whitebeard kind of misplayed a little bit. I mean, it's kind of like a hindsight thing that you should probably always play to your outs and just hope you draw into it.
Yeah.
Because he had a 9-drop Whitebeard on board, and then he had a ace. I used Great Eruption on his Whitebeard, thinking, I was like, well, that's the biggest threat. I should probably get rid of this, because I have a Kobe in hand, so I was like, I can drop this to 7 and get rid of it.
Right.
But the moment I Great Eruption, I drew into Borsalino.
Because when you do the Great Eruption, you get the draw before you do the -2. So was that just like a rolling thing?
That's how it worked?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought you had to pick the -2.
No! No, you draw the card and then you pick the minus. Oh, damn, that's unfortunate. So you got that one.
There you go. If I played more, I would know that.
Wow, that is crazy. I thought like you had like Garp inside out, like known like every rolling and everything. Because I remember me and my friends were all talking about it. We were like, yeah, Garp made top 32, and we were like, oh, you know, that's just the player at that point. He's probably just topping with anything. That's all the player. He's doing it despite playing Garp. So for anybody who wants to play Garp, because like you were saying, you think like people just have to explore the leader more and stuff.
Oh, well, like a lot of the time it comes down to not being scared to play your stuff. Because I notice people are scared to play the 2-drop because like, oh, it's just going to get visted. No. You just play it and you don't care, because what's the worst that can happen? They vist it. Like if Zoro's best play is not to vist it. A lot of the times against law players that I was playing against, they would vista, and I'm like, just play 3 1-drops. Why are you scared of something that's not going to swing until like maybe turn 3?
Yeah, it's so crazy to me, the thought of like not playing the Garp, because he's like one of the most powerful cards in the deck. He kills everything. He kills literally everything. He's so good. He's just like insanely, and then the fact he's a 2K on top of it, I think that's the problem too. A lot of people just see him as a 2K, and that's
they see the 2K and they don't want to waste it.
Yeah,
but
that's just not right. Do you think there's anything else that other players are doing wrong with the later that, if you could give advice, that you would?
I mean, if you're playing my version of the deck, just don't be scared of using the events either. Because a lot of the times, if I don't have Garp in hand, I have 2 Dawn open, turn 1, and I just pass. If they just swing 5 at me, and if there's something on the board I can pop, I'll just waste the event.
Yeah, that's how I play Luffy. Because a lot of the times, the way I always looked at it is like, these are mostly just they're just removal. And like, because for instance, you know, it's like if they have like a blocker on the board or something like that, for example, and they're swinging at me with like 6, it's like I could just drop a 2K, but a 2K doesn't remove their board. And ultimately you want to play for advantage, so it's like you could pick the board apart with the counter events. And also a lot of times too, it's like if I don't play it right now, I might not have the Dawn to play it next turn. So I'd like
normally I don't, because your 4-drops are, if you're going second, your 4-drops are too good. You have Kuzan and Borsalino. You're not gonna have Dawn that turn.
Yeah, no, yeah, it makes sense. It's another thing too. I do like that you play the 8 events because, well, okay. So I guess something that a lot of people should know is, do you prefer to go first or second with this deck?
I mean, it doesn't matter, honestly. I would say pick whatever you're comfortable with. I'm usually comfortable going second, except of course for Zoro I prefer to go first so I can drop 5-drop Smoker.
Yeah, Yeah, I was gonna say, because when you said it doesn't really matter, I was like, well, I guess that's true actually, because he plays a 5-drop and a 6-drop, and then he plays a 9-drop and a 10-drop. So your deck isn't really built to play on any one specific curve. It looks like, although, because it leans so heavily into both sides, because it's like, if you go first, you can do an event on the first turn against Law. You can pass on your first turn, have 2 Dawn open, and then pick apart Law's board with a counter event. Then on the following turn, you can Kuzan or Borsellino. Then you can go into a Sakazuki. But then on the other side of the spectrum, it's like, you can go Kobe into Smoker, and then you have your Whitebeard on the odd curve also.
Kind of like the 2-drop Garp into Kuzan, because that always requires an answer. Otherwise, on the 3rd turn, you're just gonna start clearing everything. Like, since you run 8 events, you're gonna see an event. So if they try to swing 5 into your 2 cost, use the event out of it. It just forces them to swing 7 at the Garp.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times the players I was playing against, they would only swing 5, so I would just event out of it.
Because it's like, if you play a dual color leader and you have access to red, you know the go-to is always, alright, well I'm gonna play like 3 Radical Beam. You only play 1. Why is that? Do you just feel like it's not necessary, or you never want more Radical Beams?
Yeah, I'm only running 1 Whitebeard. So I only like it for that combo specifically.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you always have like 2 Dawn open for the most part? How do you have like enough Dawn open consistently enough to be okay with running, like, seeing 8 events?
This is why it doesn't matter which turn you go, because you always get 2 Dawn every turn.
Right.
So if you're going to play the 2-drop Garp, then you're not going to leave any Dawn open, and then 4-drop, if you play Kuzan, you're not going to leave any Dawn open. And then after that, you'll always have 2 Dawn open.
So then they're mostly for the
yeah.
mid to late game for you then, it sounds like?
Yeah, unless you skip turn 1, then you can just use it turn 1. Because after that, your best plays are like Borsellino. Borsellino's 4, so if you go to 6, you have 2 Dawn open. You play another Kuzan, you still have 2 Dawn open.
So like, if you skip the first turn, there's potentially 8 cards in the deck that are alive between all the counter events, and with Law, like, because like we saw like at the most recent online Treasure Cup, the 5 Grand Finals was a Law mirror match. So between how much Law there is, you have 8 counter events that you could potentially see in your opening hand to have something to do at your first 2 Dawn. You could also play the Garp 2K, that's another use of your Dawn. And then coming back to Law, Meteor Volcano is another 2-cost event that you could play to pick apart their board for 2 Dawn, because they play so many little guys. That's why it's so crazy to me that, like, and it's because you brick, that you would lose to a Law, because like your deck seems so fine-tuned to destroy that matchup. And it's funny because that's just like the byproduct of you trying to make the deck kill Zoro.
Because I never played against Law, I never realized how good it was until I got to the tournament where, yeah, when I was playing against the Laws, I was like, this matchup is like free. It was like, I don't even have to worry about anything. I don't think they were expecting it either, because I'd leave 4 Dawn open and they would attack into me, and then there goes 2 cards, and now they have to respend that Dawn in order to shambles, and then a lot of the times they couldn't shambles because they had to reinvest the Dawn into the board.
That's how I thought that matchup would go for you, because you have so much removal. Because that's the reason Luffy plays so well in the Law, because there's just so much removal. But in Luffy, the removal's all on your turn, whereas in your deck, you kind of get to enjoy both. Is there like anything that you want to say, or you feel that the people should know, or just anything at all, while you have a platform to voice yourself or whatever?
No, not really. I mean, if you want to play the list, also, what I recommend is just don't be afraid to swing with Borsellino. He's a 6k on the opponent's turn, so he's pretty easy to protect.
Yeah, and then I imagine in this deck he's probably a 10k most of the time also.
Yeah.
With all the counter events. Is there anything I'm forgetting? Because an opportunity like this, the top cut Garp does not come up very often. In fact, it's only ever come up once ever. So
don't worry, next event, I'm gonna make Sakazuki top.
Yeah, see, I think some things are just, because here's the thing, I think Garp is actually a good leader, and he's just not explored enough. or maybe the card pool isn't there. Or what? I think Black could have all the best cards on the planet. Sakazuki's just bad.
Yeah, but Ace is coming out next, so you got to be on theme, right?
You're gonna donut them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I guess with that being said, next event, our man Diego here is gonna be punching holes through people's chest apparently. And we're advocates for that. We're always a big fan of murder for literally no reason. You know, just playing a card game, you just die all of a sudden. But yeah. Then I'll go ahead and I'll let you say your goodbye first, so that I don't say bye and cut you off and then end the video without you.
Yeah, thanks for having me though.
Yeah, no, and thank you for coming on the channel. Like, genuinely, thank you so much for giving us a peek into the mind of a Garp player. Because I had so many questions, and now they've been answered, and they weren't at all the answers I was expecting. I didn't expect it to be like budget. I didn't expect it to be like, you had so many answers that I just was not ready for. And I'm actually happier with those answers, I'm not gonna lie, because I think the other answers would have been boring. So thanks again, man. Appreciate having you on. And yeah, like I was saying, you ever want to reach out to me, my DMs are always open. But yeah, that'll be it for right now then, guys. I guess we'll see you next time. Take care.